Hey everybody, Rob Drieslein here, Managing Editor, President of the Outdoor News Publications. I've got Tim Lesmeister with me. We're going to record a segment of Outdoor News Radio, and we're going to incorporate some video with it so that you folks can see our lovely mugs on Facebook and YouTube and other social media channels. We did this with Spielman, I believe, last week. How you doing? Tim, it's good to see you, Mr. Lesmeister.
Doing well. I actually shaved today when you told me we were going to be on the video part of this program as well. So now I'm all clean, top and bottom. I even did my ears. I'll tell you what, I look groomed.
You clean up pretty good, I gotta say.
I'm groomed. That's one of the things about being in this quarantining stage is that I'll go 3 days without a shave. It's kind of bad. I'm one of those guys that usually likes to have every hair down to the skin.
Well, you're looking good up there on the island, which it's been fun having you on Outdoor News Radio back in the saddle here just about every week. These Skype interviews give us a really, really good sound. So it's good to have you back. Why don't we start the actual radio portion of this interview? What do you say, Tim?
I'm ready.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Outdoor News Radio. Rob Drieslein is with you here for our final segment of this week's broadcast. Tim Lesmeister joining me as he has the past several weeks. I think we'll have Tim with us just about every week, helping me wrap up the show as we look back at what's cooking around the state and the region. If you like what we chat about here, please check out a print subscription to Outdoor News. Give us a call at 800-535-5191 or go to outdoornews.com where you can subscribe. We also have a great new fishing report site, just with our fishing report content on all the states that we're in. I'd encourage folks to get more information on that also. Tim, welcome back. We are down to the final week before the pike and walleye opener here in our fine state of Minnesota.
Yeah, and I see they've opened up quite a bit of stuff, the bait and tackle shops. Some of the resorts now are saying they'll be able to open up. There was an article in this latest print edition that I found interesting where one of the resorts was saying that he'd only had a few cancellations.
Mm-hmm.
That tells me that people really want to get out and fish. I mean, you're talking about a situation here where these reservations were made long before the situation that we're in right now with this virus. And yet people didn't wait till the last minute to not cancel. I mean, this is great. I really appreciate what's going on here with the outdoors and how these governors are starting to realize that, yeah, we better allow these guys to hunt and fish. Although, did you see Jason Mitchell? No, I'm sorry. I take that back. It was Steve Carney. Went out to the Dakotas, and he said that he found the boat landing was wall-to-wall cars and trailers.
Yeah.
And
I'm not surprised.
Place to park in there.
Mm-hmm.
And that tells me something as well. People are getting out and they're fishing. So I believe it's going to be a phenomenal opener. I don't think that there's going to be that many people that don't get out on the water this year.
Couple points. Yeah, first off, Spielman and I spoke a little bit in the first segment. Turkey hunting is way, way up. Season A and Season B. The if you saw the Javier Cerna story on the front page, then you know that too. The other thing that we didn't have yet in this week's paper that I just sent a tweet out here a little bit ago, we got an Excel file from Minnesota DNR licensing that shows fishing license sales through this past Friday the 24th, 2 weeks prior to opener. If you look at that number compared to the same date a year ago, it is up 41% from 2019.
Yeah.
So definitely, I think, follows through on what you're saying. People are buying licenses, they're getting out, and we'll see if that trend holds through the opener, but I think it's going to.
I think something else that we have to let people know, if you haven't bought your fishing license yet, buy the walleye stamp. You don't need a walleye stamp in Minnesota to fish for walleyes, but they sell a stamp that you can buy that will allow the DNR to stock more fish.
Right.
And right now, this is important because I'm telling you right now, they did not go through the whole stocking program as normal this year. They didn't do anything.
Right.
So
the egg take operations were shut down. Yeah.
Shut down. So you need to add that walleye stamp to your fishing license this year, because it's going to mean that they'll be able to take some money and buy some walleyes from some of the people that are raising them and get them stocked.
Exactly. We want to make sure those dollars exist for next year's stocking, when I'm sure they're going to go all out. You alluded to Jason Mitchell there a little bit. He did have there was a little item about Jason in this week's print edition of Outdoor News. Massive North Dakota walleye that he released, and in retrospect, one of those old stories we get now and then. Gosh, was it a record? We really don't know unless you kill it, but hey, kudos to Jason for catch and release and for catching a heck of a walleye.
I would have not have released that fish.
That's fine.
I would have actually taken that fish, being that it was huge. I mean, this fish was bigger in dimensions than any fish that's ever been caught in the Dakotas that they know of that has ever been kept. Now, here's the reason why I would keep a fish like that. It is potentially a state record. There's no question about it. And even if it wasn't a state record, it'd easily be in the top 5, I would say. And that fish is one of those few fish that live to a ripe old age of, in fish years, probably 100. And that fish was basically done spawning. It was way past its peak. And as a matter of fact, it may not have made it through the summer without dying of just old age in general.
Of disgust, yeah. It was a 34-incher.
34-inch.
He thinks it weighed 15 pounds, 13 ounces, caught in the Missouri River near Bismarck.
Right.
What a pig, huh?
Oh, monster fish. And so first thing I would do if I caught that fish would go right in my live well. I would take it, I would transport it to a taxidermist immediately, and I would say, I want you to do an immediate skin mount on the fish. I'll pay you extra, and I want all the meat. Then I would take that meat home and I would eat it. And then, because I'm telling you right now, I've caught huge walleyes and they taste great.
Sure.
And I would eat the meat, and I would get a skin mount on that fish, and I would put it on my wall, and I would show everybody how big it was after I had it officially weighed. It may have come in at 16.2, 16.3, who knows?
Yeah, and just to clarify, the current record is 15 pounds, 13 ounces, and was but Jason's fish was 34 inches, an inch and a half longer than the current record, which I guess is 32 and a half inches. So, and I mean, this is a thick fish. This isn't like some skinny walleye. Sometimes you get those long, skinny ones, and you're like, well, what did it actually weigh? Man, this thing's got a belly on it.
And it doesn't look like it's spawned out, so there were some eggs in it. There's no doubt about it, and that's going to add to the weight. There's no question. I'm just saying that if you decide that you want to keep a fish that big, don't be shamed by it, because this fish has very little time left in this world on its own.
You feel that same way about some of those huge muskies? I mean, we see a lot of big muskie pictures, some of which are probably new state, maybe even world records. I don't know. But they always get released. That's how those muskie guys operate.
I know it's incredible. If you keep a muskellunge, you are considered the Antichrist in muskie circles. And I think that's sad, because some of these fish would look great on some backwoods tavern wall. and I do believe that those muskellunge, just like this walleye, just like these 23 and 24-inch smallmouth bass that I catch, and these. And I'll be honest with you, I usually let them go too. But I'm not out for a record, and I don't have any other fish on my wall. But I would guess Jason does, and I would guess that would probably look good in general in his resume, although he looks pretty good no matter what.
Yeah, you bet.
Bottom line is don't be shamed about keeping a monster fish.
I'm with you. This is Outdoor News Radio. Rob Drieslein and Tim Lesmeister. Coming into the backstretch, or home stretch, I should say, of this week's broadcast. Tim, we had a reprinted story from Session Daily House Public Information Services Office. Omnibus Bill says escaped farm deer elk should be fair game for state hunters. If a deer or elk escapes from a breeding farm, licensed hunters may be allowed to shoot it rather than give a breeder a day to try to recapture the animal. That's part of what was approved as some potential natural resources statutes. I got to think Tim Lesmeister's on board with that.
I do believe that the hardware stores are going to sell out of all of their bolt cutters and their fence cutters. Some of these guys that live close to these elk farms might accidentally bust open the fence. But all joking aside, I think if an animal escapes from one of these farms and I'm out in the woods and I'm hunting, if there's some huge monster deer. I don't know that it's been in this game farm. I don't know that it's been corralled and behind a fence. If I shoot that deer, hey, I shouldn't be held responsible for some rule that I broke. I didn't even know there was a rule. So I'd say at this point here, that's actually a really good law. As far as the elk goes,
Yeah, right.
I think it's going to be a little bit unusual if somebody out there that's hunting whitetail sees an elk. I doubt if they're going to shoot it. So I think they're pretty safe. But
yeah, there were a couple other goofy things in there. I know you like the one about require the DNR to issue permits to breed, propagate, and sell snakes, lizard, and salamanders, and allow people to keep them as pets. Yeah, we see some goofy stuff in there. And then allow the use of crossbows during the deer hunting season and during all firearm seasons except the muzzle loader season. You and I have argued a lot about crossbows over the years. I don't have a problem with that. If anyone wants to use a crossbow during the firearm season, by all means, go ahead.
I don't understand why they didn't allow it during the muzzleloader season. That doesn't make sense. There's only about, how many people go out there on the muzzleloader season? 8,000-10,000 at the most.
Yeah.
I mean, the woods are wide open. Why not allow crossbow? Crossbow's a great fun way to hunt.
Yeah, those muzzleloader guys are kind of protective of their own little season, though.
I know the archery guys hate it when you even bring up the fact that you might want to open up their season to crossbow.
And I still oppose that, Tim. You and I would still argue about that one. Right?
Yeah, I'm sure we would. But then again, why not have a bare bow season where all you can use are long bows? Oh, this week recurves only. This week compound bows, but they have to be only an 85% let off. I mean, there's so many things that you can do. It gets to the point where you're going, oh, this is crazy.
Tim, we just got a minute or two left, and we really should talk a little bit about walleye opener next weekend, May 9th. What do you think will be the top tactic, given the way the weather and this spring has been shaping up?
Well, I believe that the top tactic on opener is always will be the jig and the minnow. I mean, it's a great technique to use any time of year. The fish aren't deep, so the jig and the minnow works great. You can flip a jig and minnow out. One of the greatest jig fishermen of all time was Larry Bolig, but he fished bass. And I'm telling you right now that they catch a lot of walleyes doing that too. Roach mentioned it in his story last week. There's a lot of phenomenal guides. Tom Newstrom is a genius with a jig and a minnow. And I fished with him up on Winnipegashish. All you basically do is stick the hook right through the minnow's mouth, bring it out right behind its head, and you flip that. You don't cast it. You just nice short flip out to the weed line or into a rock pile or wherever you're going to fish it, and just let it sink to the bottom and sit there. Give it a little hop, give it a little pop, and then drag it. This is what a lot of people don't do. They don't let it sink to the bottom, and they don't drag it. Dragging it across the bottom is actually a very effective way to get walleyes to, for some reason, swim up and inhale that bait. So I think jig and a minnow. There'll be guys that fish live bait rigs. You'll get your trollers out there. But I'd say on opener, the vast majority of walleyes are caught on a jig and a minnow.
That's my favorite way to fish walleyes. But I'm an old river rat, man. You jig and minnow, keep it vertical, and catch walleyes all day.
Yep. But when they're shallow, it's about getting it out there, 20 feet, 30 feet away from the boat. Like, so all you got to do is a little flip and out it goes. And then watch that line, and as soon as it goes a little slack after that jig hits the bottom, don't start reeling right away. Just close the bail, let it sit, and then give it a little twitch, give a little hop, give a little pop, drag it a little ways, give a little hop, give a little pop, mix it up a little bit, and all of a sudden you'll feel this thunk.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. No, it's going to be a good opener, you think? Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a great opener. It's going to be a phenomenal opener. I think this is going to be, and I don't even think the weather has to cooperate. I think whether it's cold front, warm front, rain, sunshine, just the fact that we've had early ice out and the walleyes are way ahead of schedule, the pike are in the weeds, the bass are up the shallow starting to swim around. There's nothing that you're not going to catch this opener.
Perfect. Well, Tim, thanks for coming in. We'll talk next weekend, too. I'm sure lots more fishing opener talk to be had next weekend.
Sounds good.
Thank you, Tim. All right, I want to thank Tim Lesmeister, Mark Norquist, Stan Tequila, and Tim Spielman, who all joined me on this week's broadcast. Everybody, good luck gearing up for next week's walleye opener. I'm Rob Drieslein, signing off for Outdoor News Radio. And with that, Tim, for the video portion of this, again, it's always a pleasure. Good to see you. Good to see Ray earlier. She stuck her head in. It was nice to see her, too.
Yeah, she's over doing yoga right now. I told her she had to maintain silence.
Good.
Now she gets to make me go ahead and make noise now, baby.
Are the brown trout done going by the place on the island there, Tim? Or?
No, they're still going. The cohos are going too, and I just got my boat back. I had to take my boat in and get some work done on it, and I'm gonna pressure wash it tomorrow. And if I get some time, I might even put it in, run it up to the dock, and I'll have a boat out there. But Ray wants to do a fishing opener up here on Fishing Opener, where I actually get out all the tackle and let her pick some lures to use. And
nice.
We'll probably go fish pike in the bay.
All right.
The pike will be up in the vegetation shallow, and they'll be hitting spinner baits. So we'll go do some casting. And then, like I said, it's been like Grand Central Station out in front of my place with boats running up and down. I was out on the dock the other day. They had the boards out. And I joked to one guy, said, "Big brown trout sitting right inside my dock. Can you get a board in here?" And he just started laughing. I said, "Are you catching any?" He says, "Yeah, we're picking up some nice cohos too."
Wow.
So they must be running some spoons as well. If you get some spoons out there and run just a hair faster, you'll pick up those cohos. The browns, they want crankbaits a little bit slower. So
little Lake Superior action there. Well, Tim, thanks for calling in. Good stuff. I'll chop off the video here. I want to thank everybody who joined us for this video portion of the show, and thanks again, Tim.
We'll see ya.